Hello friends, I welcome you in this channel. Today I will tell you the story of Alexander the Great. I will tell you in this story that how brave he was, how he became the world champion, who was his teacher, how was his war strategy, and how he treated his enemies. Before starting the story, I will request to you that please subscribe, like and press the bell button and watch this video up to the end so that you could understood whole story. Let us begin the story. To conquer the world was not only his dream but a really which this young Greek general called Alexander had almost achieved when at the age of 32 he suddenly died dynamic. Enterprising, this young hero was spurred on by an insatiable appetite to have the world at his feet. Standing little over 5 feet, he possessed that unique blend of youth and wisdom that today puts him in an unchallenged position among the world's greatest generals. As the son of King Philip of Macedonia, Alexander was the beneficiary of his father's military and political genius. This, together with the unsuppressed tutoring of none other than associate himself. Alexander's formative years inculcated in him a love of knowledge and life. But botany, science, anatomy, history, literature, morals, or political science, Alexander found answers to all possible questions under the able tutelage of his teacher. This has made Alexander the most well-and conqueror of all times, due to his sagacious insight into military strategy. Great and much envied generals like Hannibal, Caesar, Napoleon studied him. It was 336 BC, on losing his father, that Alexander donned the mantle of responsibility of the new king. At first, it was thought that his father's military might be able to outshine any of Alexander's military exploits, but the Macedonian never could have been more far from wrong. Alexander struck north, east, west, and then south into Greek proper. Once having all the Greeks under his command, the young general started looking outwards. Leading his army, Alexander marched towards Asia. Alexander thought that it was time to punish the Persians for invading Greece 150 years ago. King Darius III, the Persian king, laughed when he heard about the valiant Alexander, who led an army of a mere 30,000 infantry and 5,000 cavalry officers against his vast army of 1,000,000 soldiers. But it was Alexander who was to have the last laugh. Using a planned, intelligent maneuver, Alexander let his center draw the main enemy attack upon itself. This led the enemy to concentrate fully on the center. Alexander, taking advantage of this, carried out a wild but disciplined cavalry charge onto the unsuspecting right wing of the enemy. He caught the enemy unawares, and this led to an unprecedented victory over Darius' army. Darius fled the battlefield, Darius was killed by Persian conspirators. He was found lying dead by the Macedonian soldiers. The dying king muttered some words of gratitude to Alexander for treating the royal captives with courtesy. Alexander, in his characteristic manner, covered a body of the dead king with his own royal mantle as a mark of respect. Alexander's bravery did not in the least dampen his human approach to things. His annexation of the other Greek city-states was done with tolerance and the least loss of life. It was only a plunder of Thebes that saw the ruthless exploitation by the Alexandrine army. But here too the characteristic Alexandrian touch spread the house of Pindar, the great Theban poet. He venerated all knowledge. In another instance, after winning over Darius' army, Alexander in the drunken state is said to have going with the demand of Greek soldiers to burn the palace of their enemy down. Alexander himself led the parade, throwing blazing torches at the building, only to retrace his steps once the spectacles of that magnificent fire had sobering effect on him. He then tried to save all that he could. Today, because of this spontaneous act of saving the monument, the archaeologists have found wonderful stone carvings nearly intact. Alexander had started his journey for Asia with the sole aim of making slaves of the Persians. He had been laughed to think that Persians were second-rate citizens and were fit to be subservient always. But on experiencing the might of the Persian army and on close contact with the Persian soldiers, Alexander found the soldiers to be noble, cultured, and with great dignity. He was impressed. As a goodwill gesture, he chose 30,000 of the best Persian soldiers to train in the Macedonian art of military leadership. These troops were also trained in the Greek language. Alexander was not slave to prejudice. He acknowledged rare qualities of bravery and comrades even in soldiers of the enemy camp, and he did not forget to respect them. On capturing a state in India, Alexander defeated the king of Indus called Porus. He took the defeated king captive and then asked him as to how he would like to be treated. To this, Porus replied, like a king. Much impressed with Porus' sense of honor and self-respect, Alexander restored his territory to him as a protected state under Macedonian regime. So it was the first part of the Alexander the Great. Next part I will tell you in the next video. For that time I want to do